Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Nanatsu no Taizai, Imashime no Fukkatsu, or you could call it the Seven Deadly Sins, Revival of the Commandments on episode 10. This episode right here was actually pretty cool. Not too bad. They actually are making things flow together that will, get things a little bit faster, which I am really fine about, and I'm really actually happy about that. Anyways, I'll look forward to, the next episode, but before we can even talk about that, let's get on to the recap, alright? Alright. Let's just get this started. We had to it that we get a recap of what happened, and we had to it that the three guys, which is Hauser, Gil Thunder, and Grimoire, just got out of training, got healed up. We have to it that King, on the other hand, gets into a little argument with Hendrickson and saying he won't forgive him, which is okay. We understand that. And later on, after the opening, we see to it that Bond is with the Werefox again, as he talks about how he had two sons and he's about to see him on the other side. We have to it that Bond is starting to remember his past time with someone called Zhivago, which I know his name was already mentioned. Let's see here. One episode ago, last week. And we have to it that that Bond gets along with Zhivago right there, but when it comes to his real father, he's a real freaking douche. There's no denying that. Forgive me for my cussing if that's slang or something, but he treated Bond pretty badly. Like every time if Bond comes home with no food, or if he's eating certain foods without him, he ends up beating him and punching him and kicks him out. As for Bond, he, on the other hand, got kidnapped by some man and woman about to be sold off to a noble for about 20 or 30 gold coins. But he gets saved by Zhivago in time, and they end up having a more bonding moment, which is something this is happening in Bond's past, you know? We have to it that Bond, as a child, of course, in Bond's backstory, asked Zhivago to teach him how to steal, although his manners is really bad. Although Zhivago warns Bond, you do understand what you're asking, right? I mean, once you start stealing, you won't be part of normal human society. Bond, on the other hand, tries to ask him a question, but he gets very sleepy. But Zhivago says, why don't you sleep then? But Bond says, if I sleep, Pop will kick me in my gut or beat me. And we have to it that Zhivago says, you know what? I'll keep an eye out for you, etc. Eventually, he teaches Bond how to steal, but his stealing skills are not as high as his, as he's still a learning curve or newbie. And they end up having a little small talk about Zhivago's real son, Therion. And we had to it that Bond asks him, who is he like? And we had to it that Zhivago says, he's a young child, but he has a very kind gesture towards people. And we had to it that Bond, on the other hand, was about to go to work with Zhivago. But before they go to work the next day, we had to it that Bond was told by Zhivago not to trust humans. And Bond's like, I trust you. And we had to it that Zhivago says, you silly boy. Now go to sleep. We'll be waking up first thing in the morning. And we had to it that let's see here. Bond was waiting for Zhivago, but Bond decided to go into the mansion raid himself. But apparently, it kind of got him into a situation where he got caught by the guards. And we had to it that we go back to the present Bond, and therefore, this Werefox, on the other hand, tells him when I look into your eyes, it reminds me of my son. And we have to it that Zhivago in Bond's backstory realizes that Bond went on his own for trying to steal something. And then Zhivago heard hey, there's a Werefox child in the mountain when he heard rumors about that and realizes that his son is in danger. And this is where Zhivago reveals his true identity and apologizes to Bond as he decides to go after his real son to save him and says sorry. And he ends up running back to the home where Theron is waiting for him as he cries in great despair as he remembers those words where Bond says, I trust you, Zhivago. And we have to it that Zhivago did defeat the guards, but he was a little bit too late to save his son. While his son says, you came for me, Dad, and then he cries and dies. And Zhivago, on the other hand, says if only I made the right choice, I would not have lost everything, you know? That's where this is where the Werefox, on the other hand, is actually Zhivago himself in Bond's backstory. On the other hand, it must have surprised a lot of anime onlys. Well, that's if you decide not to be too analytical in the certain backstory of Bond and that Werefox, which is actually Zhivago. And of course, we go back to present day where Zhivago laments on the part where if he only made the right choice, if he made the right choice or something, I would not have lost everything. And we have to it that Bond explains to him, you didn't do anything wrong. And Zhivago, which is the Werefox, says, like you the hell no. And we have to it that Bond reveals himself by saying, if you saved me and abandoned your actual son, I would never ever forgiven you for that. You were my ideal father who took care of me. I never held a grudge against you. And we have to that Zhivago cries and realizes that it was Bond that saved him and cries in great agony and despair and happiness, realizing that Bond has grown so much. And this scene actually got me in the heart pretty badly because when Zhivago was talking about he knows of a son named Bond or something, he explains it to Bond and Jericho and finally looks at Bond right now and he just only realized after Bond tells Zhivago I never held a grudge against you. If you saved me instead of your actual son, I would never forgiven you. You were my ideal father, etc. Because Bond's real father was a freaking jerk. We all know that. It's shown that in Bond's backstory. Of course, we have to it that after that scene with Bond, the Werefox, which is actually Zhivago, we go back to the Druid's place where things are about to get a little hectic, where everyone's gonna go to train, you know. And as for Hawk himself, he somehow got lost in the cave where he got separated by everyone. While there's a scene with Gil Thunder and Hauser fighting off against a monster that they don't know of. And apparently we had to it that this is where they start to train and improve their skill. But not before they actually had an argument with each other because they go hey, you messed me up last time. No, you messed me up. La 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 la. You know, trivial things where you blame the other person for we lost because of this, you did this, you know. You guys know what I'm saying. Hopefully. But eventually, after working together, they managed to make better improvements, but they still got their butts handed to the Clay Dragon whatsoever. As for Hendrickson, he's very happy to see how Gil Thunder and Hauser have grown. And Meliodas thanks Hendrickson despite everything he's done for saving Gil Thunder and Hauser from that other time when they were fighting a great demon, etc. Of course, we have to it that there's Arthur and Gother fighting against a freaking knight whatsoever, which is really hilarious and fun. But at the same time, we have to it that Arthur was really worried because Gother's head got chopped off, you know. But Gother's like, I'm okay, and Arthur can only scream in so much bewilderment and shock. And we have to it that trying to figure out how to fight this thing. But we have to it that King wants to go into the training as well with Meliodas. Well, Meliodas decided to come in. And we had to it that King and Meliodas talked to each other, etc. While Meliodas was trying to have a serious conversation with King by saying, you know, despite you having a major grudge against Hendrickson, I need you to understand that he was controlled by Fraudrin, and now Dreyfus is under control by Fraudrin. They were both under his influence, thus it can't be really helped. And King's like, so what? I'm supposed to forgive him if he's controlled or something? This reminds me of that time where I remember watching a very entertaining movie that involves mind controlling, you know? It's you doing something, you are forced to do something because you were under the influence, etc. And King is saying you think I'm supposed to forgive him after all he's done, even after he's been controlled, etc. And Meliodas is I can understand how you feel, you know. And you know what? This reminds me of a scene from a movie where someone was trying to explain to his other friend that it wasn't he had no other choice. That was not him, etc. I would not say it here because I'm pretty sure if you guys been keeping up with Marvel cinematic universe, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's all I can really give you right now. So yeah, of course, like we have to it that King asks Meliodas, "Who the hell is fraudulent?" And Meliodas is like, "That guy's one of the 10 Commandments." And King's like, "How is it that you know these guys for so long after this seal for 3,000 years, huh?" And he even asked Meliodas, "Are you on the demon clan?" And Meliodas asks, "What are you trying to say right now, King?" And King attacks Meliodas and asks him once more, "Are you really on our side?" And he ends up getting ready to clash against Meliodas. I'm thinking in my mind, yeah, I can understand King can be suspicious or something, and he does not forgive Hendrickson for what he's done. Understandable. But you know what? He has to understand that certain human minds or something tend to be like easily controlled by powerful magic, especially from the one from a demon clan, from fraudulent, etc. Really, really ridiculous. But I can understand King. I'm not trying to diss on him or even hate him or something. I like King as a character. He's like one of my favorites in the Nanatsu no Taizai, you know, because of his clumsiness and naiveness or something. But yeah, I can understand why King is being what he is and being suspicious about Meliodas and attacking him right away. But aside from that, I thought the episode was pretty well done. They actually adapted the chapters pretty well. Even trying to fit Bond's later part of the story of Taizai with the training session with the other 7 deadly sins to make it flow and work, which is something that I am very grateful to A1 Pictures for. They're doing a good job adapting the series. I'm really glad of it, thank goodness, because I remember first season they made way too many changes that had to be very complicated and confusing. And right now they're doing a good job adapting the scenes from the manga. There were some scenes omitted, you know, maybe the one with Zhivago and Bond talking about the Fountain of Youth, etc. But there's more to it to come later in time. So until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. So I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, right? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!